If you happen to hear any Mercedes car enthusiast speak with their friends and overheard their conversations, you would hear them speak about their cars in chassis codes and not by model numbers. And that's what I want to focus here, because the GLE was always under the W chassis code. In this fourth generation, Mercedes has completely omitted the W and replaced it with a V. Presenting to you the very first long wheelbase SUV by Mercedes-Benz, the 2020 Mercedes-Benz GLE V167. In fact, here's another interesting story which led to the nomenclature of this SUV. So, most of you know the very first generation of this SUV was called the M-Class. So, few years later, BMW objected to Mercedes not to use the term M and don't call it the M-Class, because for obvious reasons, BMW manufactures a lot of cars under their BMW M brand name, the M3, M4, so on, the BMW Motorsport division as we know. So Mercedes added a letter to this and called it the ML. That happened around 2014. In the coming couple of years, around 2016, completely changed the entire SUV lineup nomenclature and called this the GLE, sort of notifying the E-Class of SUVs. Right, so the car I'm driving is the 300D. And it gets a very small 2-liter diesel motor. Do not get confused by the 300D terminology, but it's a very handsome motor, and this produces 245 horsepower and 500 Nm of torque. So that is a lot, and that's enough to make it propel and complete the 0 to 100 sprint in 7.2 seconds. So this is almost 1.5 seconds quicker than the previous generation model. I believe the equivalent model that time was the 250 CDI. So yes, this one is actually eclipsing that previous motor's performance in a good way. However, for city limits, this 2-liter is ample sufficient, and it's just where the highways where you can probably identify and want to explore the fun factor of this 2-liter engine. It shows that 4-cylinderness in it, and definitely you will really miss those 2 cylinders out on the open. However, with the help of 2-stage turbocharging in this OM654 engine, you really are always in the torque band, and it really helps to give a great balance of power, economy, and it has also helped in reducing the emissions, I believe, by around 13%. So that is a win-win then. A quick word about the handling. So this car is no sporty handler. That is the best way to say it. But it does handle well for its weight as well as size. Overall, things could really change if you drive the GLE with the E-ABC. E-ABC is nothing but the new generation of the Airmatic suspension, the E-Active body control. So unfortunately, that's only available in the 400D, which was a limited edition. I'm not really sure whether that is still on sale or not, but that was strategically priced at 1.25 crore ex-showroom. However, the steering has done a good job, and it is really good at high speeds, and it does have that feel, preciseness at high speeds, at the same time being effortless at low speeds. The car is designed in such a way that it can actually go off-road. However, unfortunately today we don't have time nor access to any such off-road trails. But I'll leave you with some image from the user's manual of the car to highlight the car's off-road prowess. A quick word about the ride quality. It is good. It is good on highways, no doubt. But in city speeds, at lower speeds, it's not as good as the way it is while it is picking up speed or at cruising speeds. So I would want to blame the tires a bit. A quick, spec check on the tire is that it's slightly under-tired for the weight, the size, and probably the segment as well. It's a 255 50 R19. So 19s is good, but 255, that's, I don't think, they could have really, gone for like a higher spec tire or wider spec. And 50 is speaking low profile. So, I say this because the GLE is available internationally up to 22-inch rim setup. So, their low profiles is understandable. But 255 50 R19, I don't think so. Because of this under-tiredness, you can feel the bumps, especially the expansion joints undulations. So, those thuds are actually coming into the cabin. Other than that, cruising and regular undulations, it's genuinely a great car to be riding in. You also have to keep in mind that this is the base model, and we are running on steel springs. We don't have airmatic suspension. That's available in the next, I believe, the the 450 model, and the top of the line EABC, as we spoke earlier, that is only reserved for the 400D hip-hop version. So other than that, as I said, for steel springs, it's really good. And a suspension without the airbags, the airmatic suspension, it's always a stress-free suspension to have when you are out of warranty. So the base GLE does make a compelling case in itself. I believe this is the second model in the Mercedes lineup which gets the new MBUX infotainment system, and the major difference is that the knob, the rotary knob which was present in the previous models, is completely replaced by this touchpad. And most of the people will take some time to get used to it, but as soon as you scroll through the MBUX system, you will understand that the touchpad was actually an ideal tool to scroll through the entire interface, and hence this touchpad is an ideal upgrade over the conventional rotary knob which was present in the previous generation models. So before moving on, in fact, I would like to say that this MBUX system is accessible and usable through the touchpad. It is available, you can scroll through these, functions on the steering wheel. It also has touchscreen. And finally, you can also control the MBUX system with voice control. Coming to some key highlighting elements, I really love this wood. And, this wood trim is completely, it looks well seasoned. I'm sure it isn't. It's a good amount of trick plastic. But overall, it is definitely uplifting and adding character to the interior of the GLE. It's just that, I would have preferred the same wood on the steering wheel as well. And that would have really spiced and probably added extra character to a relatively dull steering wheel. Another great bit about the interior is the ambient lighting. And it's truly remarkable the way Mercedes have made use of this ambient lighting. Well, voice control got activated, so because I said Mercedes maybe. So well, anyway, coming back, the ambient lighting is truly remarkable, and at night it really uplifts the mood while you're entering the car. And another cool feature which I noticed was if you are actually wanting to raise the temperature of the air conditioning unit, then while raising the temperature, the ambient lighting on that side goes red. And likewise, when you decrease the temperature, the ambient lighting will go blue. That's absolutely a cool feature, and probably the first I have noticed in any car, in fact. Even though this is the base model, they have given the entire screen. They haven't left the instrument cluster being analog or a split display. So that is a good thing. Not only that, the instrument cluster in front of you is extremely customizable as well. and you can scroll through a lot of various combinations, and it's definitely a good amount of gadgetry in front of you. Alright, I have a couple of observations in the interior. The sunshade, internationally the GLE gets a twin sunshade, wherein you can have two sunshades, one in front of you, one on the right, and that was something unique. But in the Indian model, it doesn't. Another quick observation was all the charging points, the USB points are USB-C, and I believe there are 5 of them in the car. So the conventional USB is not there. Sort of Mercedes wants to announce a future-proof strategy, so which is a good thing, but I'm not really sure whether it's a good thing for all the cell phones. So yes, coming to the negatives, some negatives are really horrible, and I really did not expect at this price point Mercedes missed out on these. No keyless entry at this price point, that's really a shocker. There is no heads-up display. Again, I would have loved it. 73, 74 ex-showroom for this car, and no heads-up display. I mean, it's a miss, big miss. The seats don't have any ventilation, the heating, cooling. And finally, the reversing camera, so it's just a regular reversing camera. There is no 360-degree view, which is again, in today's times, at this price point, is not done. Though there are a few adjustable, options here, but overall, a 360-degree camera has to be given at this price point. Otherwise, it's slightly unfair. I wanted to point out a quick software glitch in the MBUX system. So right now, as you can see, there is a GLE here. I changed the mode. It is still a GLE. But sometime back, while I was changing the mode, instead of the GLE, it was showing an A-class. So that is not done. We paid money for the GLE. We want to see the GLE here. So why would it show the A-class? So it is definitely a software glitch. I hope Mercedes sorts that out with whatever software update or something. Right, so the back seat. This is the place to be in any long wheelbase models. And this is LWB SUV, the first one by Mercedes. So definitely they've done it particularly well. With the front seat pushed all the way forward, it makes do for an ultimate limousine experience. Another plus point is that the rear seat bench is hunkered down. It almost feels like a sedan in here and not like an SUV. I know a lot of reviewers have complained that the rear seat is low, not SUV-like, and then those same reviewers complain that SUV is not the most comfortable place to be. The middle seat or the middle row in the SUV is not the most comfortable. And right now, Mercedes' effort here is to make this entire driving experience pleasurable and almost sedan-like. And I get the feel, and I get real good vibes out here, and not an SUV-like vibe. And overall, though the visibility, yes, that's a negative. The visibility for the rear passenger is not great, and that's the only disadvantage. Overall, the comfort levels, the space, well, this is the base model, remember that. It's perfect. A few observations here in the rear seat. Firstly, this empty screen holder, because this is a base model, so this looks really ugly. In the base model, they shouldn't have had this. They should have had the flush leather instead of this so-called makeshift arrangement for the upper models. So it doesn't look good. So they've tried their best to actually hide it and look good, but it's an eyesore to me. Another negative or observation you can say is the last time I had reviewed a long wheelbase Mercedes was the E-Class, and that had properly well cushioned headrest, and it really felt good. So that headrest is missing here, and I just don't know why Mercedes thought and omitted that. Probably on cost reduction or what they were thinking, I don't know. But those headrests I miss in this LWB version. And finally, the third row seats. Internationally, the GLE, this generation is the first time they are offering a third row and have made this SUV a 7-seater. Unfortunately, in India, it's not even an option. And I just don't know why Mercedes left out this opportunity, or probably they are waiting to launch another variant of the GLE as a 7-seat variant. So a lot of questions, it might also be because, if a 7-seat variant is offered in the GLE, then the GLS sales may get hampered. So we don't know. But I would really like to see a 7-seat variant of the GLE, and that would really spice things up and make life more difficult for the BMW X5, XC90 Volvo and the other competing cars. But overall, Mercedes thankfully haven't omitted a beautiful panoramic sunroof, and we Indians love the sunroof, and when it's a panoramic one, all the more better. Let the sun shine. The exteriors are a perfect modern interpretation of the original M-Class. It's got loads and loads of attitude, and in my opinion, better looking than the previous generation car. From the side, it's typical SUV-ish. Smooth at the top and a little bodyline at the bottom. Front is very imposing and authoritative as well. The rear, other than one of the most well-made fake exhaust which you can hardly make out, overall is in harmony as well. The only negative I would like to point out that there is no AMG body kit on offer on any of the variants, which is a trim level option internationally. In an age where good SUVs are not in short supply, the GLE excels and raises the bar on many levels, especially on the space and comfort. You can call it the M-Class or the ML or the GLE or whatever may be, but the success story of the GLE will continue. And on that predictive note, thanks for watching.